Welcome to another round.
Gotta like set the mood, guys.
We already lost our guest. So, Kevin, I got a question for you.
Okay, what's your question, Tom?
Well, I want to start this off the right way, but
he's got to find his joke. He's looking for it. Spoiler alert.
Do you consider yourself an ace?
Why, yes, I do.
Well, you just got served.
Oh,
no. Sting.
Why are we telling bad jokes today, Tom?
You want to see my backhand?
Whoa, not again.
That was a little bit better, Tom. I'll give you that.
Thank you. See, that was totally off the cuff.
The follow-up was pretty key.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not the totally unscripted joke here.
Well, I tried.
Do it real quick, guys.
I'm not funny. We are very honored, and actually I'm excited because we get the opportunity to interview someone that's kind of really in the same realm as I am. We work with Harness Digital Marketing, actually works with other companies, brands, and people. But this lady, wow, she hit the ground running. Kerry Feirman is with us today with Talkin' Tennis. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, guys.
It is honestly really going to be cool because I want to talk. I want to pick a little bit of your brain about your marketing and how you've been branding yourself and how you're able to get in front of some of these most amazing stars and make yourself stand out and be different. And I know Kevin wants to ask you nothing but statistics, right?
That's right.
Because we were told that you know everything there is to know about statistics in tennis. Is that correct?
Oh boy. Well, there might be some things. Pressure's on. Just, give me a second to whip out my phone and Google if I miss something. But I'll do it down here so nobody can see.
That's the best employee to have is the Google employee.
What did we ever do without Google?
We went to the library and used a system called the Dewey Decimal System. My librarian friends will appreciate the fact that I name dropped that.
There you go.
The library? What? No, I'm kidding.
I know, you're way too young. Kevin and I know. Kevin knows longer because he's way older.
I went to some of those, at some point in my life.
Yeah. So you have this amazing show online, Talkin' Tennis, and I want to give you a chance to tell all of our viewers what it is that your dream is, what it is that you're doing with this, and where you want to take this show. Because let me tell you, you're dreaming big, and I can't wait to see you become a rock star.
Thank you, Tom. That's so nice of you. I grew up a tennis player and was kind of I played in college D1 for my first quarter at UCSB and then kind of just got a little bit sidetracked by wanting the whole college experience, dropped off and didn't pick up a racket for a while. And then as an adult, realized how much I missed the sport and kind of was out in LA trying to do the acting thing and was thinking about how I could combine the two. And then I met this woman, Marky Costello. I don't know if you guys have heard of her before, but she's a host coach out here. She had like a show on E! She's a big personality. She's great. Took a class and it was like this life-changing moment where I was like, that is it. I'm going to create a tennis brand because I feel like, I love the sport. I never stopped watching it, even though I put down my racket for a while. And there isn't really much like entertainment, kind of showing the pop culture side, the players, the personality, the off the court. It's a lot of statistics. And that's kind of where I felt like it was lacking because even me, I was like, well, I kind of want to know, a little bit more about what are these guys doing in their free time and these girls, where are they going? Like, what do they do for fun when they're out at the French Open? I mean, I can find out their scores on 50 different, outlets. So, just kind of started this brand and like from playing tennis, had a few player connections, coach connections, kind of reached out to them. And Sam Querrey was actually one of the first people that came on Talk Tennis in the very beginning. When I had a co-host, it was called Mixed Doubles. So I did, there were like 5 or 6 episodes. Yeah, 5 or 6 episodes like that. And Sam was nice enough to come on when I had no idea what I was doing and figuring it out, but just kind of like snowballed from there. And especially within the last year, it's been awesome, covering like all out of the events before the big tournaments, like Taste of Tennis, Tennis with the Stars, where I get to be on the court with some of the players. And Yeah, I mean, it's been great interviewing a lot of them on red carpets or, you know, in events or in person in the studio. And
so how long has Talkin' Tennis been online? How long have you had that?
it's been about 5 years, actually. What? So it's been a while. Yeah, I mean, wow. it took a hot minute to, you know, really get that momentum, you know, to kind of like, I was really figuring it out on my own, you know, and bobbing and weaving and, you know, falling down and getting up. And so that took a while to figure out. And then it also took a while to like poke at people and finally have them be like, okay, all right, I'm listening now, you know? So really it's been within the last year and a half that it's really, you know, boomed. It's been great. You know, it's been awesome. Before that, it was great and it was on its way, but it was a lot of really just kind of like, hey, do you guys see me? No? Okay, I'm going to try again later, you know?
We can totally relate to that.
Absolutely. So you are obviously resonating with an audience. How do the professionals in the tennis industry, how are they reacting to Talk Tennis? And, you know, because you're kind of, like you said, you're taking it outside the box. You're not doing the typical statistics, but you're actually showing us some personality, not only with yourself, but obviously the guests that you have as well.
Yeah, you know, it's really funny because sometimes I'll be on red carpets and tennis players, I feel like, are so used to being asked the same question, you know, and so they just go boom, 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 down the like media row answering the same question. What are you doing to prepare? You know, how have you been practicing, you know, on the grass versus the clay, or same questions, and they're like ready for them. And then I'll come out and just ask them some off the whim question. I mean, a normal one as a human being, but they sometimes get a little thrown off because they're not expecting it. Most of the time, though, they react really well because at the end of the day, they're people and they want to talk about, you know, their lives too. And they want to talk about more than just their job. You know, it's kind of like you and me. We do this all the time, you know, so when I'm in a conversation with somebody else, just socially perhaps, or, you know, I mean, I guess this is, you know, they're expecting tennis questions if it's a red carpet for a tennis event, but, you know, they still want to talk about themselves. And so they receive it pretty well for the most part. There's a language barrier with some of them, so that gets a little tough sometimes. But yeah, it's been received well, thank God.
Obviously, persistence pays off in the digital marketing realm, and anytime you're branding yourself. So, I mean, 5 years is a long time to be consistently at it, evolving, which I think part of that is also the process, too, to be able to do that. What are some of the things that over the period of the 5 years that you found has worked really well for helping the show Talkin' Tennis take off?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the persistence, you know, and just like not letting anything not getting down about anything. And it's so cliche to say, you know, it's like, you know, keep going. When you get knocked down, get up. But it's true. And it's been, it hasn't been easy. You know, I definitely was not one of those people that had it someone high up in the industry kind of be like, you know, usher me in. It was really, really starting from the bottom and just kind of trying to work my way up. And that's probably been the biggest key. I mean, I think that that's the biggest key just in life. A lot of people are incredibly talented, but give up too soon, you know, and then that's where the other people see success. And so I've been kind of just pushing and pushing and pushing along and not giving up in regards to getting, you know, people's attention, be it players or be it companies in the world or be it the, you know, the different tournaments. So that's been definitely key. Social media, obviously, you know, is key. And like, there's social media. What a beast that is these days. I mean, I swear making one post takes me 2 hours to do, but because it's like you got to get it on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Instagram Live, or story. But social media and keeping obviously in contact with people who have been supportive is huge. And I'm so grateful to especially those ones who have been there for so many years, just consistently sharing and supporting and like, you know, lifting me up about what I'm doing, because there are for sure going to be critics. And it's funny, it's not funny, but it's like, especially in the beginning, you know, a lot of like be friends and people that I thought would be supportive were not super encouraging, and would sometimes make me feel a little bit discouraged.
I know, isn't it bullshit?
Yeah, I know. And so,
telling you.
those people, whether it be people I didn't know and who were just supportive, or friends and family or whoever, that's obviously kept it going too. And, keeping my spirits up, keeping it going. Practice. I take classes every week still. I try to engage, reach out to the players, and I'm very keep in contact with everyone, networking. I'm always out at events, having a life and dating. It's been a struggle.
Well, the other part about being a host is, let's be honest, you're easy on the eyes, beautiful lady. That's why I brought Kevin in. He's my eye candy. He's the one that brings all the people in. But there is a certain amount that goes along with being a host, that you have to have that perception, that presentation of being a host. Don't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to have the presentation. You have to have the confidence, because red carpets and media rooms are intimidating AF. The first one I did, I remember I was just getting pushed out of the way, and I was and for media rooms, you really got to be aggressive and get in there if you want to get one of those 4 questions that they give 100 media people to ask. So you definitely have to have that presence, and obviously to just keep people engaged, that you're interviewing, you have to have that. And so definitely, and you got to do your research, and know what you're talking about, because that's the worst, when you get stuck not knowing the information to a question. I'm sure we've all been there, but yeah.
Me more than him.
Well, obviously, with Talk Tennis, your audience base is going to get fans of the sport, but you obviously have something that is appealing to people who maybe necessarily don't follow tennis. So what is it, do you think, that kind of separates? I know you give that inside look, that sneak peek, if you will, but for folks who maybe, I'm not a tennis fan, this isn't going to be for me, this is really something that would be for anyone to check out, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was kind of a big goal of the theme of Talk Tennis as well, was to kind of keep the avid tennis lover. I want to keep them, obviously love them, and want to bring in a new audience though as well, because what struck me is I've always loved the sport so much, but I grew up with it. But so many of my friends who follow other sports, or, are engaged with other sports, they'll be like, tennis, I don't know, it's boring. I'm not that interested. And so I really wanted to kind of get into some sort of area that would engage those people that didn't necessarily, grow up in tennis and grow up loving the sport. So make something just entertaining for everybody. And a lot of these events, that I go to before the tournaments, and, that's why sitting down with the players, I'll talk more about their lives off the court, things that people who aren't necessarily involved with tennis can also relate with. And the biggest compliment that I'll get from people is, I'm not a huge tennis fan, but I still love your show. I love watching it. Nice. So yeah, definitely, creating something more, delivering the information, but also entertaining. And
what's cool, I was going through looking at your videos, doing research,
Thank you.
You interviewed Goose Gossage, which I'm a huge Cubs fan, and he didn't quite have all the handlebar mustache that he did back in the day.
Right.
But I think it's also cool to think that, some of the players they're interviewing, much like they do other sports too. They do golf, they do tennis, they do other things. So I think the connection is that, some of these people still play these other sports as well. They're not just tied into just one.
Oh, absolutely. They all love to play other sports and be engaged with other events. And I work with a lot of charities. So we'll get a lot of different athletes, be it tennis players and the other ones as well, baseball, like Goose or NFL. So yeah, and I'll talk to them about that a lot too. I talked to Alexander Zverev about, his basketball skills, because he was between basketball and tennis when he was younger, or Ivo Karlovic, who's 6'11", but definitely a topic that I'll cover with tennis players as well. And that will help reach the, kind of relate with other audiences too, and tie it all in.
let's build a little bit off of that, because I think a lot of times when we are trying to build a brand, we are so focused and so specific on our brand. We don't want to alienate those who do follow, but then we also want to open that door and welcome in new viewers or listeners or likes or whatever it is that we're trying to, our end game is. So you've obviously found a delicate balancing act of sorts. Do you get any pushback from the tennis community when you have someone that maybe isn't fitting right into that cookie cutter mold of what a tennis fan would be looking for?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes from like the avid tennis, lover, the one that's, really a little bit more conservative and doesn't want to break out of the mold. Sometimes I'll get a little pushback and have them be like, I thought this was a tennis page or a tennis channel. Yeah. And I'm like, it is, but let's be welcoming, guys, to other things too. Let's bring them in because, even from the start of Talk Tennis, I've had other people on the show. Kerry Rhodes came on the show. He's a former NFL player. Tyler Leppley's been on the show. He's an actor in The Haves and the Have-Nots on the OWN network. Laura Spencer's been on. Omar Benson Miller, who's on Ballers. So, from the beginning, it was about kind of doing exactly that, bringing in not just necessarily a tennis person. And if they're not, we'll do fun games or we'll do something, tennis related. But yeah, it may not be 100% like, tennis.
Would you say, and I'm trying to word this in a way that doesn't sound...
Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
No.
You're making me nervous.
Are you building, do you feel like the fans of your show are fans of you or fans of tennis, or is it a mixture of both? And is it important to kind of have that balance, I guess? Yeah,
obviously I want all the fans to be a fan of me, hopefully they're tuning in because they enjoy like the delivery and the presentation and the content. But yeah, I think it's definitely a mixture of both. But I don't think if a viewer, didn't like me, I don't think they would tune in, or maybe they still would, Right. I guess they say sometimes, people like to tune into the people that they hate also. Hopefully not too many hate me, but
who could hate you? Come on.
Yeah. But yeah, I do definitely think that it's a combination of both because, I obviously also if the content was terrible, people are not going to tune in.
And it is about content. So I'm going to put you on the spot. Wimbledon's coming up, and I want to know some predictions because I got some bets to make, and I need to make some money. So I know. So what do you think? What are some of the predictions for Wimbledon coming up?
Yeah, it's a little hard, and it's a little hard to bet against Roger Federer.
But would you? Give me a wink for yes.
I like to take risks, Tom. I like to go for the dark horse sometimes, and really make that money. But it's hard to bet against Fed, especially on grass. Nadal obviously is doing great. He just won the French Open for the 11th time, which is absolutely incredible. He's played in 11 French Open finals. He's won all 11, which is
crazy.
It's absolutely insane. It's insane. But Federer, he took the clay court season off, which is smart, resting the body and getting ready for grass court season, which he's quite good on. So it's definitely hard to bet against him. There's other great players, Zverev, who I mentioned earlier, is an amazing player. I think that he's got a strong chance. Dominic Thiem is great. I'm going to go with Fed for the win.
Okay.
I don't know how much money you're going to make off that, though, Tom, because everyone's going to be betting on Fed, okay?
Ian, I was really hoping to get some inside scoop here. If anything comes up and you interview him prior to that and something happens, please message us so we can, if he goes out and drinks a little too much or, whatever he does, we need the inside scoop so we can make a little extra.
I got you. As far as for the women, Serena, dropped out of the French Open. Oh, God. Did you guys see that when she dropped out right before the Maria Sharapova match?
No, I did not.
Oh, so she dropped out right before she was supposed to play Maria Sharapova, which obviously was a hugely anticipated match. So that was very disappointing. She has
What's the scoop on that?
What's that? Oh, she has a pectoral injury. She said she couldn't really serve.
I don't know. What do you think? Legit? Come on. You think that's for real?
Bark, bark, bark. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a little bit, the timing was interesting, I thought.
Here's what I have a hard time with, Kerry,
Yeah.
is the fact this woman is so competitive. Like, I know so many people competitive that they would play hurt. And I know that that's a long game in tennis and there's a lot. I just can't find that fathomable that she could just drop out like that. I know it's not an easy decision, but my goodness, she's a machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she is. Well, I think what's up with Serena is, so ever since having her baby, she's been really mom mode. I don't know if you look at her Instagram and her social media, it's, not a ton of tennis these days, which is fine. It's a lot of baby, which is fine, she's
Absolutely
36 years old, like, more power to her for having a baby and coming back. And I feel like this year, since she's been back, she's withdrawn a lot. And I think well, first of all, it's hard to come back from having a baby. It's going to take a minute. She's such an icon. She's such a powerhouse. And I feel like there are a lot of expectations of her coming back, being that she's so close to matching Margaret Court's Grand Slam record of winning 24 Grand Slam titles. She's at 23. So she's so close to, tying and surpassing. She surpassed Steffi Graf's title of 22 last year. And she's right about there in regards to becoming the all-time great and, breaking that record. And so I feel like there's definitely an element of her return to just surpass that. And I wouldn't be surprised, if it happens, then I wouldn't be surprised if she kind of leaves tennis after that. But I don't know. We don't know if it's going to happen necessarily. I definitely know that she's feeling the pressure, though. And so I think that she dropped out maybe and withdrew from the French because she wants to make sure that she's incredibly ready for Wimbledon because she's got a great chance there. She's one of, the most powerful hitters and servers on the women's tour. And grass is very nice to power because it's slick, it'll slide, and it'll give her even more speed than she already has. And so she's a tough one to beat on the grass.
How fast can she serve? Do you know how fast she can
She's got the record of the fastest serve. I want to say I was just looking at this the other day too. It's 115-ish maybe, or it's up there. But it's big. It's big.
I don't think you could survive a hit from her.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
That would do some damage.
It would definitely do some damage.
Yeah, I wouldn't take that bet if it was laid down. Sometimes
Some people, this would be a great fundraiser. You need to do this fundraiser. You have to survive a hit from a tennis ball from her. And it's like getting tased, right? It's like getting tased, but it's a fundraiser. I think you could make that happen and make a lot of money.
Yeah, and whoever survives will win, a handshake with Serena Williams. It'll be great.
And all the money could go to a great charity, which I know you are involved in a lot. Yes. And I was looking over your resumes online, and you have a history of working with autism. Mm-hmm. And please, we always, Kevin and I do a lot of fundraising. We work with a lot of nonprofits to tell our viewers what that means like to work with some of these nonprofits, raise some money, and even the autism group.
Yeah, so Acing Autism, I definitely work with quite a bit. I met them through Cliff Drysdale Tennis Association, which also does a lot of charity events, Tennis with the Stars. Acing Autism is the beneficiary in Indian Wells, and they were in Miami's Tennis with the Stars this year as well. It means I love it. I love doing, being able to combine tennis, which is a huge passion and a huge love, and something that I think is a great sport for people and for life in general. I think it, has a lot of life lessons that you can learn from the sport because it's just got so many elements, an individual sport for the most part. And, there's so many things. It's a great sport. And being able to combine that with charity, which is another really incredible thing that I love, is incredibly fulfilling. Watching these kids, especially with autism, the Acing Autism program on the court, it is unbelievable to watch them from off the court to getting on with a tennis ball and a tennis racket, how they light up, how it just helps them with their, coming out of their shells and learning and socializing. And it helps the parents too, learn how to, how to raise a child with autism. So it's great. It means a lot to me, definitely. And then, there's the other charities that I work with. Obviously, Cliff Drives Association, they're different events. Sometimes they have other charities that they donate to. I've worked with First Break before, which also helps children. I worked with Excess Tennis, which is in Chicago. That's actually owned and run by Kamal Murray, who's Sloane Stevens' head coach. And he's incredible. He built this huge facility in Chicago to help underprivileged youth learn the sport. So that's another charity that I work with. Gosh, what am I missing? Definitely missing some. But yeah, charity, combining two of charity and tennis, I mean, it's awesome. It doesn't get better than that. So it means a lot to me.
If you're ever in Southern Illinois, I think Kevin and I could probably both take you on in tennis. Please stop by. Maybe you could school us a little bit. And did you ever play tennis?
No, I own a tennis racket, but that is about the extent of that.
You don't play tennis, but you own a tennis.
Hang on your wall like an art piece, or what do you do with it, Kevin?
Well, I had the goal of, I'm going to get a racket and I'm going to play. And I mean, I've been to the courts a few times, but no, I don't. It's pretty silly to watch. So, yeah.
My daughter, she took a tennis camp, I think twice. She liked it a little bit, but she decided to go the swim route. So she decided for swimming. So Kevin and I both have daughters that are in the same grade. Yours is a little bit older. Mm-hmm. But we always like to ask our guests, especially our female guests, what kinds of wisdom would you like to part on my daughter just turned 12. On two 12-year-old girls, they're kind of going up through life. What kind of wisdom would you like to pass on to them? Yeah,
I mean, just be independent, go after whatever it is that you want to go after. I say, continue to do it. And I know that sounds, again, so cliche, but also to only really, Lindsay Davenport actually gave this advice, and I took it to heart because I really, really think it's incredible. And it's only listen to the people's advice who care about you, like your father or your mother or your siblings, or a friend that you really know has your best interest at heart. Because like I had said earlier about sometimes the critics, it can be discouraging and it can get to you, and I think that actually is what causes a lot of people to give up. So especially stay strong, keep your head up, whatever it is that you want to do, keep at it. Don't get discouraged, and be that strong, independent woman. Get out there.
We need to continue to have great role models as yourself, Kerry, and we want to thank you for taking the time to come on another round with us. And everybody, you need to go to her YouTube channel. We've got everything listed below. Kerry, please also make sure that you follow back up on this thread. I'm sure that during the day we'll have some questions for you. And then we can also follow you on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and there's like 5 or 6 more things are going to come out between now and another probably 30 days that you can be on. But we really appreciate it, and thank you so much for inspiring me to continue doing this show with Kevin and making sure that we try to evolve and make it better. And I know your show is going to be great. I feel like you're going to be on this Entertainment Tonight section of just like talk tennis kind of thing. I just have this, that's how I feel, is like you're like this Entertainment Tonight meets talk tennis. And I think it's going to take off. I think just remember, Kevin, Tom, just remember our names.
Tom, you got this suit game that you got going on too. I mean, I've looked you up, and you don't disappoint.
Man, I bring it every day. I got a keynote that I'm going to do in St. Louis today, so I'm wearing the Pac-Man suit today.
Yeah, I was wondering what those little things were. Are they like buttons or?
Pac-Man.
Oh no, it's a pattern. Check you out.
It's Pac-Man. So game on. That's why I work for you. Game on.
Yeah, I'm a big fashion girl. On the court, fashion is very important to me. So I'm digging your in studio fashion.
Thank you. I've got 16 different suits.
You look great too. You look great. I mean, it's not Pac-Man, but you look great.
No.
Kevin's got two suits, right? 4. Kevin's up to 4 suits now. When he jumped on board, so now it's a competition, but he's never going to catch me. So,
I mean, Pac-Man's kind of a high bar.
You want to wrap it up for us?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Thank you once again, Kerry, for joining us today. It is Talk Tennis with Kerry, and you can check it out, as Tom mentioned, in the links below. And if you're listening on the podcast, just check it out. Do a quick Google search, and you will find all kinds of great stuff. Kerry, thank you so much for being a part of another round with Tom and Kevin.
Thanks, guys.
That was great.
Yeah, cool.
Yes,
Your
thank you.
thought was like